Early exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Let's take our time now to look at brand positioning as it concerns the entertainment industry. So, Nigerian singer, songwriter, and record producer Temila Diokpeniyi, popularly known as Tems, won a fourth BET Award. She won the Dr. Bobby Jones Best Gospel Inspiration Award with a song Me and You that was released in 2023. Now, in this category, we had the likes of contending in this category before she won the award. We had the likes of big stars such as Kirk Franklin, Sissy Winers, Maverick City Music, and then others. So she beat all of those big stars, big gospel artists to land the award. That award has been subject of controversy since July 1 when she picked the award. Now, there are those who are crying foul. There are those who are saying, how can Tems, a secular artist, win this award? It's supposed to be for gospel artists. But the question is, what are we not looking at? What did BT see in the song released by Tems that knocked off all of the submissions of the big gospel artists? We're talking about this today, and we have Ife, who's from Symphonic Africa, to talk about brand positioning as it concerns the entertainment industry with us. So Ife Ajagbe is head of operations Symphonic West Africa. She was with us on the show last week Friday, and we're glad to have her again today. Good morning, Ife.
Good morning to you. This is such an interesting topic. And the first time I saw that award and the person that won it, I just said, you know what, I need to go and listen to that song
morning.
again.
So there's a controversy around the BT award that Tems has won. It's a fourth, by the way. For the awards that Tems have won, I'm not sure people have opposed the award or talked about it. It's been more of congratulations Tems, but this one she picked in the gospel category seemed to have really stirred the waters, and lots of comments have been rolling in on the internet, on different social media platforms. There have been people commenting on this. First, why do you think there isn't a general acceptance of this award, especially from the Christian community?
Okay. I think it's a natural response. If I'm not wearing my business or branding hat, I also would say, what? I really want to go ahead and listen to that song, Me and You, again. That was what I said. Like, first time I saw the post, that was my comment. Like, I'm going back to listen to the song. But if we're being technical, we would say, oh, she granted an interview on, I think it was BBC One Extra, and she actually established the fact that it was a song about her relationship with God at that time. She said she recorded it just, after Essence was recorded, and it was really about her relationship with God. So you can't fault someone's relationship with God. Now, whether it is in the gospel community, whether that song is recognized as a proper gospel song is another thing. Now, because I am not on a team, I don't know how the song was registered when it was being uploaded for streaming. But in my experience, you need to categorize your song properly. So there's a category called Christian and Gospel. If she did successfully put that song as Christian and Gospel, the streaming algorithm, everybody is going to consider that that is a gospel song. Then you can put it up actually for a gospel category. Now, whether the community, the existing gospel community, accepts it that way is a totally different thing. And if we're trying to be balanced here, there was a time when one of Dunsin Oyekan's songs actually made it to Spotify Top 50. So Spotify Top 50 is generally, you mostly see pop music. You scarcely ever see a gospel song, but it was there. And I imagine that it's maybe basically because of merit of the numbers that it was making, in spite of the fact that it was a gospel song. So yes, I was also surprised. I was shocked, but there are technicalities to these things, and it's not impossible that she actually, got that because she deserved it.
All right, we're glad to have you join us once again. Now, this development is looking like an unexpected becoming the expected. And you can understand why the controversy in a conservative environment, or where this class, if you look at this category, you have those who belongs to the conservative class of gospel artists. You have Ken Franklin, the CC Winers, and the rest of them. Now, compared to terms, what do you think actually played out, as regards the issue of global positioning and the issue of branding? For us to have been able to have won this award, the category is all about inspirational award, not like the conservative gospel award. But if you look at the class of people in that category, you have the veterans, the Franklin, CC Winers, who you will have expected to have won as regards voting perception, because awards has to do with voting. It's a game of perception and numbers. What do you think actually played out as regards terms in terms of positioning, branding, and the impact on the results being recorded for in this situation?
Okay, so I would say that music, especially for categories that involve voting, is a game of numbers. So you could be a veteran, a lot of people love you, but if they are not actively doing anything about their love for you, then, it's not working. So if Thames, for instance, has people that are fewer that like her than Kirk Franklin, for instance, but if the people that like Kirk Franklin are not voting and the people that like Thames are voting, yeah, I mean, naturally, Thames would take a category over Kirk Franklin. It doesn't mean that she's going to be regarded in the music. I don't even want to say just gospel music, but she wouldn't necessarily be regarded in the music community as a better musician than Kirk Franklin, not necessarily. But it is the activity. I imagine that the organizers have their criteria for selection, or for, the songs that make it to a particular successful stage in a category. But whatever it is, she must have beat it. And it's interesting because it means that her PR is being done right. There's a lot of conversation around her. There's a lot of, buzz, and it's deliberate. This is something that people put a good amount of funding into. So for artists, it's not impossible for anyone really. But for artists right now in Nigeria, let me use Nigeria because that's where I am. I would say you would get to that point when you start understanding music primarily as a business, and not just something that, you just want to do as a passion. Passion is great, yes, but I mean, sorry about that noise. So passion is great, but I think that you should understand that primarily it's a business. And if you're thinking of it as a business person is going to think, do I want 10% of $1 billion, or do I want 100% of $1 million? I mean, 10% of $1 billion is better, actually, at the end of the day. So if an artist starts to think like that, you then understand that there can then be people that will invest in your craft. So you can be popular, but you're like, no, I don't want somebody to say, oh, they're taking some level of control. Okay, given some level of control in the business side, negotiate control for creative side, you would actually have people invest in your craft. You will not, of course, when you make earnings, you're not going to make 100% of the earnings because you did not invest 100% of the money. So Thames, as she is, beyond being just the artist whose music people love, is a brand. And it means that there are investors in that brand. There are other people making, she's literally a business. So there are other people making money also from that brand. And what would they do? They will make sure that the brand is successful at every level, whether we cry foul or not.
Right. I like to relate this to when Tyler from South Africa won the Grammy Award over big Nigerian names. People were expecting the likes of Davido, Burna Boy to pick the award, and then Tyler just came and grabbed it. And so many persons were saying, how could she? What's in the water song? Now, you've talked about the criteria for selecting the winning song, why the votes came in, what Thames may have done that the other artists, the big names, Kirk Franklin, CC Winers, and others perhaps did not do. Can we look at some of the things that an artist needs to do beyond just singing a song, beyond just submitting your songs for awards, and things like that. Because online, while people were commenting, somebody said, there was a comment, I think that was on Twitter, on X now, right? Where somebody said, true gospel artists do not sing for words. Should that be the courage? Should that be the practice of an artist, whether you're gospel or secular?
Okay, so this is like sort of a is a touchy conversation, really, especially for the gospel community. I was having a conversation yesterday, and okay, so let me give you a background to this. There's something in distribution. I don't know for other distros, but for Symphonic, we call it marketing drivers. So basically, there are some kinds of plans where your distro, your distribution service, can actually pitch to editorial playlist curators of streaming sites on your behalf. And editorial playlist curators are unique because the streaming sites are official to those, the playlists are official to those streaming sites. So that means nobody is incentivizing anybody. So what we have done at Symphonic is create something called marketing drivers, which creates questions that if you answer those questions properly, give us ample information about your music, your plans for the song. Do you want to, do a radio tour? What radio stations have you scheduled for the radio tour for this song that you want to release? Do you have plans of actually, performing? Have you performed the song to any audiences? Just beautiful things about the song that will make a playlist curator say, this song is really, really nice, or this artist is serious. Let me put this artist song on my playlist. So that's what marketing drivers are. And I've always had a challenge with the fact that people in the gospel community don't give enough information. Then I realized that a lot of times they actually perform to bigger audiences than our regular pop artists that actually make it to this playlist. And I'm like, talk about it. That's what we want to hear. You performed, you ministered at an event that had 90,000 people. That is big. Talk about it. Say it. Put it in the marketing drivers. We want to hear it. When you say that, editorial playlist curators are going to, be excited. Like, wow, if somebody tells you, I performed a song to 90,000 seater audience, that is what brands buy. Everybody wants to buy your audience. Like, who are you influencing, basically? So that is the challenge with the gospel community. Oh, we're not doing it for the awards. Okay, that's fine. But then you cannot then complain when somebody that does it for the awards actually gets the awards. You have to choose a hustle. So it's either you want it or you don't want it. So primarily, I think that for people that want that, because you cannot actually force the artist to decide where they want to stand. So if a gospel artist comes out and says, you know what, I am not doing this for the money. It's not a business to me. I'm fine. I probably have other businesses I'm doing. I just feel called to spread the gospel. And I would even fund the spread of the gospel through my song, but I don't want to make money. I don't fault that. That's your business. Now, if you're also a gospel artist that says, okay, yes, I want to minister the word, but I also want to make money from my music and I want to treat it as a business, then you need to take it seriously. You would do for the awards, yes, you can still keep, your creative rights, how you want your music to sound, the kind of people you want to address, the kind of issues you want to address in the Christian and gospel community. It's fine. But then you would take the business side seriously for you to be able to compete at the level that Terms, Akek Franklin, Sinach would compete. So that's my take on that.
I love your submission, which also summarizes the challenge in the gospel community. I love to use the word conservative. The conservative gospel artists see it as more like a ministerial thing or a spiritual assignment rather than business. You know that the trend now in music is the approach to music is more like business. It's more professional. Now, for the gospel artists who are still battling with this, how can they strike a balance between what they perceive to be a spiritual assignment and then the need to blend it with the business side? Then how do you ensure that the kind of professionalism that the secular artists deploy to production of music, that also the gospel artists take a clue from that and also imbibe the same kind of professionalism, especially when it comes to PR and marketing?
Connection with Ife. We'll return to her as soon as we establish connection again. But the issue is
Okay, I
really
think I can hear
interesting
you
here.
now.
I like to borrow a leaf from what you usually say. It's getting the conversation is getting bigger and better.
Okay, I like your face there. If you can hear us,
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to
here.
believe you heard my question.
Yes, we were asking about how it could be blended, the wanting to stay spiritual and staying true to the calling, and then, blending it with the business side of things. That was the last part I heard. Is that it?
So how do they strike a balance and then the approach to music production? Whether the secular guys, they hire professional hands, especially when it comes to PR and marketing.
Okay, so two things you've mentioned there: music production and then PR and marketing. For the gospel artists, I would actually give them, like they do a good job when it comes to production because they bother about actually including all the relevant instruments. So it's more like they want to bring your musical experience in a church that has the full musical ensemble, and they want to bring it on your streaming services where you can just listen to something like that on your phone. So they do bother. They try to, especially when they get good production houses, they try to get good production. They do try on that side. I would give them that, at least the ones I'm familiar with. Maybe some don't. There's always going to be some of those that don't pay attention, but gospel artists do try for that. Now, for PR and all of the other things, it's still the conservative conversation that we're talking about. Some people just feel like, I would rather not. But I also think for those that say I would rather not, they realize a little too late that they could have bothered at least. So it's not necessarily that you are charging a fee for preaching the word of God to someone through music. It is that it's still the money that you need to facilitate salvation. So but the Bible needs to be printed. Somebody needs to put money down to actually get the Bible printed. So that means there's still money involved somewhere. So for the sake of it, just think of your music as an NGO. So let's say you don't want to make money, it's fine. Think of your music as an NGO. And then you create a system where the music can actually fund itself. So that means, in spite of the fact that you don't want money for yourself, you need some level of business sense to actually make it grow as a business. You would also be able to encourage other younger people, songwriters, in the word of God. But still, you will be doing good business and you can decide that you want to send the money to charity. Your choice, your entire choice. Nobody's forcing you to make money into your pocket if you don't want it. But create a system that the music is actually able to blossom and grow, which is why some of these people, when they then get older, the songs that are the biggest songs that they ever had were songs that we knew when they started. But even those songs, till now, they're probably not the ones making money from the songs. Maybe some other young thief has carried the song and gone to streaming on streaming sites. So while you're saying, oh, let's do throwback to so legends gospel song that we enjoyed when we were younger, people are enjoying it on streaming sites, but it's not the legend that is making money. He probably has no clue that he can make money from his music. He just did it for the sake of, whatever it was that he did it for. So that's why I think that younger artists, whether you're a gospel artist that wants to be convicted, I think consider it as a business.
Let's look
That's
at
how it can be
reaching a
sustainable.
younger audience. Now, the BT Awards has been on for several years, and when you compare the BET with the Grammy has more audience and has more relevance, so to speak. Now, Thames coming on board to pick an award in the gospel and inspirational song category. What do you think that would do to the BET? Does it win them more? Does it win more people to them, given the fact that the song that Thames released and picked the award for her kind of cuts across lots of religion and different spheres. So the song, if you look at the lyrics, you would find the word God there. You would find the word, you wouldn't find God, you wouldn't find Lord, but you just know this song talks about maybe the relationship between a person and divinity. So do you see that as part of the strategy too that could have won her the award?
Well, I don't think that when that song was being made, she actually had that award in mind. I think that even though she said it was about her relationship with God, I I really honestly don't think she was considering it as a gospel song. That song can pass for anything. That means she can easily go to the Grammys and say, "Oh, it's a pop song," and that's it. And then just go ahead and pick another award for whatever other category she chooses to. I mean, Beyonce has conversations with God even on her songs a lot of times. Says she wants to be at one with nature and all of that. Does she make gospel music? Does she then become a gospel artist? No. So I think that in everything there is some level of politics, business, in awards, categories, and all of that. And it's something that artists and their teams need to understand how to play. There is always the politics of it. Like, you would wonder if at some point there's is a Burna Boy bigger than Femi Kuti? It is left to conversation. Is Tyler bigger than Burna, or is Angelique Kidjo Burna's mate? It's always left to conversation. So, are you saying that because Tyler picked an award, then she's then become bigger than Angelique Kidjo? It's still left to conversation. So there's a lot of lobbying that goes on in the granting of awards thing, but it's not impossible to actually learn and understand how it works. And when you do, actually, you can just go ahead and lobby for it. That's what it is. Like, understand the politics that goes into it, understand what needs to be done, understand what needs to be taken care of, which songs you can put up for what. And I think as an artist, you'll be fine. It's not exactly rocket science. It just looks impossible because the bigger ones are the ones doing it. But it's not impossible for anyone to do.
Knowing what to do and actually doing it. Because like Femi asked earlier, being able to separate what is a spiritual task and what has to do with your career or the business that you're pushing. Now, sometimes when we find a collaboration between a gospel artist and a secular artist, even when the song trends, the song does very well, sometimes there are criticisms around it, like why would a gospel artist feature a secular artist, particularly if that secular artist is known for certain kinds of music? Should that be the case? Where is the point to lose that conservativeness and maybe look at the bigger picture of influence? Is it possible to do with all kinds or classes of music?
Okay, so I didn't hear the last part of what you said, but I got a good part of the question. Now, the thing is, I think that it's an okay conversation to have. I mean, it's just like saying particularly when the child starts to associate with people that you think are riffraffs or thugs, it is okay for you to say, what's going on? You should raise an eyebrow. So such conversations are very healthy for the music community. In fact, when such conversations happen, it is how some people that did not know that the song was released get to know that it was released. So it's still some form of publicity for the song, and it gets the numbers up. So sometimes the sole purpose of that feature, I think sometimes is for the conversation. So that, because they know that it would rile some people up. So some people deliberately do these collaborations. That's why I said there's some politics that goes into music business. Some people have thought all of this out before they even write the song. So it's not like you, the regular indie artist that just says, oh, I have the inspiration for this song. I think it's a beautiful song. I like to bless my fans with it, which is a good thing. And then you do the song. And then you now start thinking, how are we going to promote this song? Who do we promote it to? Where will I get the money to promote it? No. There are some other people that make a science of it. So they start off with, there's Bunny on ground. We need to create a song. What would that song do? We've decided on the strategy. Okay, so it has to be a gospel artist and a pop artist that will make this song. Okay, so we're putting Lil Wayne and Kirk Franklin together on a song. People will shout, yeah, that's it. It's that shout that will write us and make the song. And then when the song is done, put it out there. And people start to get riled up. Every community like, no, this cannot happen. How can Kirk do this? That, and then the people that are in the potpourri they don't really care whether Lil Wayne sang a gospel song at some point or decided to connect with God or not. They won't be as riled up, but they will just find it very interesting and make fun of it. So in that kind of situation, sometimes it's deliberate, and that's the business idea of it in the first place. So such conversations are very good for the numbers at the end of the day.
All right. Now let's talk about positioning. Looking at what an upcoming artist should do in terms of getting the right positioning, maybe for our words, for visibility. When you talk about the right framework for positioning for an upcoming artist, what does it involve and what does it entail for an upcoming artist to have the right positioning, either to get visibility or her words of this kind of nature?
Okay, so you need to understand that success in the music community is not an individual's job. It's not something that you'd say, oh, I'm going to do everything by myself. No, you can't do everything by yourself. So you need to cultivate from the very beginning of your indie days, the days when you're just an independent artist. You need to cultivate the habit of growing with a community. So there's a mistake independent artists make. They always look up. I think you should look around you. They always want to have established entertainment lawyers, established artist managers, or somebody that'll take them, to the top quickly. Sometimes you can be lucky those people will find you and work with you. Fantastic. But sometimes you might not. Sometimes it might be your D1s. I'll give an example. I think Falz the Bad Guy, it is the same guys that have been with him. The first time I saw Falz was he was putting on his NYSC uniform. So it was with these two other guys, Femi Soro and what's his name now? I've forgotten his name. But like the three of them, the three guys were besties. And guess what? They are the bad guys together. Like they grew a brand together. So they were his artist managers. They're still his artist managers till date. So grow with people that, are at your level at that time. The way you think you're an amazing artist when you're starting out, there's also that amazing music producer that is at your level that also wants to be heard. Collaborate. Create a community. You will grow together and grow strong together. I did not go to school with Elumelu, so I'm not going to call him and say, guy, I need this favor or I need this kind of collaboration because we're not the same set. So grow with people that are at your level at that time. You never know what they're going to become. Like industry icons that they will become as you guys grow together. So that's a way for indie artists to actually start and get so you form, the strengths of people around you. There's some, aspiring PR person that is someone that you just know and you're like, this one is not successful yet. So let's, make your product the product that would make that person successful. So you can grow with those people because if you say, if you know that, I'm a babalo or there's some money somewhere for your music that maybe you've made some money and then before you start music, some people do that. They go work, regular jobs and then make money, store, and then start to make music. So you could as well just go and hire professionals. So you need to hire a team in that case. Now, the first suggestion was for people that really don't have some money somewhere and just want to grow organically. It probably takes a little longer. Maybe not, because at some point when you're actually doing something consistently and doing it well and you seem serious and structured, some investors could come along the line and say, you know what, we could scale you guys to the next level because you look like you're serious and you know what you're doing and you're growing an audience steadily. what brands or investors buy is really the audience. So it is putting in consistent work in making sure that you're seen. There's a particular way you want to be seen, be consistent with it. If it is that some people will insult that way that you have chosen to present yourself, you have to still be consistent so that those people can consistently insult you. And then somebody will say, who is that person they're insulting? If it is that there's a particular way you want to be seen that people are liking or enjoying, you really need to be consistent so that people will consistently say, this person is doing a great job. And other people will then look at you and say, what is this person doing that is right? And they would then want to invest in your music. So some people do not think that Odumodu Black's music is melodious. But right now, who cares? Some people do not think that Charlie Poppy has fantastic production or even Sheyi vibes, but they just consistently did what they did, basically. And now there is heavy investment on them. So if you're saying, oh, they don't make amazing music, there is heavy money. They're a business. So there's heavy money being pumped into them. So really, it is a good level. You can't be black today, white tomorrow. Like you have to be consistent. And I think one of the things that is very little, I'll just tip this in, that artists don't pay attention to, that sometimes derails their career, is the way they change names. When artists change names, you would think, I don't know, like an artist can have a name for 2 years and say, you know what, I just don't like this name, and throw it away and just pick another one. Now, this is what you're doing. You are disturbing your fans. You are derailing. You won't be able to gather a fan base. So you're derailing your fans. Every time they come, they can't find you. They don't even know you're releasing new music because you have come and put another name again. So what you really need to do, if you want to start out and even choose a name in the first place, is check the name, check the streaming sites and see whether, somebody else is already bearing that name. If you need to make adjustments or something, Google your name that you want to choose and see the usage and see whether people are using it. Now, if you find out that the name is unique to you, stick with it. If you need to have sessions, call people, have conversations about it, stick with that name. And even when you want to change the name for whatever important reason, say your case is like Buju, that had Buju Batten's name. So maybe he really needed to change his name to Benson at that point. I don't know what challenges must have been experiencing for him to have to make that change. But copy him. So what he did at first was say Buju, Benson, FKA Buju. So that is Benson, formerly known as Buju. So your new name, formerly known as your last, and even a fan base. I just thought to put that out there. But really, I think that artists should grow from, people around them, their immediate community, and grow professionals along the line.
About community, now that the Christian community is riled up by the award that went to Thames in the Gospel or Inspirational Song category at the just concluded BET Awards, do you see a kind of revolt by we're boycotting the BET and maybe other award bodies that seem not to represent the Christian community so much and sticking to maybe the likes of Dove Awards, Stella Awards, and even Vogma Awards?
No, I don't see a boycott happening. I just see conversations like what we are having right now happening, and the gospel community being more awake to what they need to do. So, there are always incidences that, make award ceremonies say, oh, we are creating a new category because of, I wouldn't call it a backlash, because the conversations that have come out of things that have previously happened. So in this case, I think that it will be a wake-up call to the gospel community. They will be riled up, yes, they probably are already, but then it's going to make them, be introspective and then look at it and say, so how do we make ourselves actually stand a chance and be properly positioned? So I think that it's a good place to be, actually. It's something that would make us a lot more aware of what needs to be done going forward. So I don't see a boycott. I'd see us wanting to do better, actually.
Let's wrap up this way. For the Nigerian music community, how can this development, this unexpected that became the expected, be channels towards positivity for the Nigerian music industry? And would you expect that the supposed barrier between the secular and the gospel artists with this kind of development will be further broken? What's your take on this?
I would still say that it would make us more aware of what needs to be done. There is no way that you will not have dissenting voices. Some people will stick to their guns and say gospel artists, Christian and gospel artists, have no business being business people. And that is what they are going to stand by till they die. And we respect them for it. It is fine. It's their position. But you also see some people will wake up to the fact that, wait, though, studio time, I paid this amount of money for it. I pay this amount of money for mixing and mastering. I have to promote the music. People don't say, oh, because your song is a Christian and gospel, oh, don't worry, your promotion doesn't involve money. It still involves money. So when they consider all of these things and the business side of things, they will be like, you know what? Yeah, so we want to preach the gospel, but still, we have to keep body and soul together to be able to preach the gospel. So there would always be these dissenting voices. For the Nigerian music industry, I think that we're growing. I think that we are becoming more aware of possibilities with regards to business, with regards to things that we can do. Sometimes, if we're being fair, some of the people that choose to stick to their guns probably have other businesses they're doing that makes them fantastic money. So they are okay. Sometimes it's when you're okay that you would see music as just a talent. If music is the only thing that you know how to do, you would see it as a job, a business. That's your only, it's practically your career. So sometimes it's not, we can't force the people that are on the side of being conservative to then come to the side of saying, considering it as a business. Their position, we will respect it. But as long as they live and live, let other people that want to make a business of it, make a business, a successful business of it. That's fine. I think all of these things that are playing out are fantastic for the Nigerian music community, whether it's a gospel or even the regular pop. We are just talking about the gospel artists. Some pop artists are also on this table. So everybody needs to learn, whether you're a gospel artist or a pop artist. It's important that you do. But it's okay for conversations like this to happen. It just makes for a better, healthier Nigerian music industry, really.
So I agree so much with you, Ife Ajagbe, that some other artists need to learn. I think some of them did learn when Tyler picked the Grammy Award over the big names in the industry. Now it's time for gospel artists to learn a thing or two. Thank you so much. We've been talking with the head of operations, Symphonic West Africa, Ife Ajagbe. Thank you for your time with us in Early Exchange.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
For the Nigerian music industry.
Okay.
Times is out.
Early exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.